Well, here's what irritates me about the outside narrative that Cleveland is setting him up to fail. They have not done this the right way, all of those things. This man was a 5th-round pick.
I just watched what happened to Shedeur Sanders, now by those sorry-ass Browns and sorry-ass Kevin Stefanski.
I understand what the narrative was going into the draft, why he fell, all of those things. You're still a 5th-round pick. Are they supposed to cater to you? Mm-hmm. Are they supposed to make it easy? Are they supposed to put bumper rails like at a bowling alley on to make sure that you can be successful? No. They gave him opportunities.
Well, now tuned in to the Dark Times channel.
And so, as many of you already know, Shedeur Sanders went out there this past weekend in his 3rd and final preseason game with the Cleveland Browns and had a less than stellar performance.
To think just because he's Deion's son, just because he went to Colorado, just because he is Shedeur Sanders with a famous last name, that he was all of a sudden supposed to be better than his rookie curve, I think was completely disingenuous. It's not the team setting him up for failure, it's him showing, this is where I'm at in my career right now. I'm not ready for a bigger moment. I'm not ready for a bigger workload. I'm not ready to be QB2.
And a lot of people took to social media over the weekend to call out Coach Kevin Stefanski of the Cleveland Browns in his treatment and his handling of this so-called quarterback competition.
Hall of Famer Kurt Warner stopped short of blaming Stefanski, but weighed in on the rookie quarterbacks in their preseason finale by saying, I was really looking forward to the competition between Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders in the last preseason game. I know it plays out like this sometimes, but a bummer that both didn't have the same opportunities to make plays. Dillon Gabriel played well again, but had good opportunities to make plays. Shedeur Sanders didn't have those same opportunities, so it was hard to make much of an assessment.
If Stefanski wasn't trying to sabotage, why was undrafted rookie Greg Larvinian not in with Shedeur? Gage has been with Shedeur throughout the camps, practicing even first preseason game. He also trains with him outside of practice. Why, yesterday, was he not in with him? Look, I don't really look.
Hey, we beating a dead horse, huh?
And so it goes without saying, there was a lot of individuals that were frustrated this past weekend. And not just people, we're talking about former players, former Hall of Famers, quarterback Hall of Famers, Super Bowl winners that know what they're looking at and they know what they're talking about. And so come Monday morning, ESPN got their memos and it was Spin City.
All of us sitting at this table think the notion that they're sabotaging him is ridiculous and not worthy of following up on. In fact, RC, I thought you described it very well in our meeting this morning, what it is they are and aren't doing.
Yeah, what it is that they're doing is they're treating Shedeur Sanders like a 5th-round pick.
Right.
To say that Kevin Stefanski and the Browns are sabotaging Shedeur Sanders is not only false, it's wildly disrespectful and disingenuous.
Well, here's what irritates me about the outside narrative that Cleveland is setting him up to fail. They have not done this the right way, all of those things. This man was a 5th-round pick. I understand what the narrative was going into the draft, why he fell, all of those things. You're still a 5th-round pick. Are they supposed to cater to you? Mm-hmm. Are they supposed to make it easy? Are they supposed to put bumper rails like at a bowling alley on to make sure that you can be successful? No. They gave him opportunities.
So you mean to tell me, and this is not me taking shots at anybody who said it, but you mean to tell me that a guy who has dedicated his life and his career to the game and the development of players has chosen Shedeur Sanders as the one to sabotage? The son of an NFL legend? The game that Kevin Stefanski has dedicated his life to be a part of? He's going to choose that guy?
I mean, Ocho, if you're a receiver, Ocho, and I'm a receiver. Now, when I'm in the game, we call it pass plays. You in the game, they call it run plays. How they gonna fairly judge you when you don't get the same opportunity that I got?
So what did you think of this entire handling of Shedeur Sanders?
I felt like it was handled horribly. So let's say you two guys do a great job on the radio, and your station comes in and says, you know what, guys? We want you and 3 other people to compete for the morning drive, right? And so we're going to give you all reps on the morning drive to see who has the best ratings and who does a great job. So you're like, cool, competition, let's go. We good. And then they stick you guys on the graveyard shift. But not only do they stick you on the graveyard shift, they never give you time in the morning. They give you 1 hour on the back end of the afternoon slot, but yet still judges you ratings-wise on the people that also got the morning slot opportunity. You'll be like, man, this is unfair. And so this wasn't a real competition. That was a whole takeaway from how this handled. You can't say it's a competition and then not give everyone equal opportunities to compete for that said job. So that was the crux of my frustration, because I've seen this before at the high school level, I've seen it before at the collegiate level, and you've seen it time and time again at the professional level when, not every competition is a real one.
I thought for a second, because I saw so much stuff yesterday, I thought I was going to disagree with you, and I don't, because Lima, you said it, like, why didn't they just come out and say this is a competition for the rookies, for who the number 2 backup is, or what number 3 quarterback is, or whatever it is. But I think everybody should have known it.
There were 2 different competitions,
but they didn't come out and they didn't say it. Tone, go ahead.
So, but let me just ask you, Emery, you do understand that quarterbacks drafted late, that nobody's guaranteed a fair spot.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, if you had this guy graded as a first-round talent, him going in the 5th round doesn't change the fact that you had him graded as a first-round talent, at worst a second-round talent. So why would you quickly move off that evaluation if you consider yourself a draft analyst or a prospect evaluator? That's why the whole thing, when people say 5th-round pick, is super disingenuous. We've seen guys fall out of the first round, out of the draft completely, Isaiah Bond, but his talent still suggests he is still who he should have been drafted by. So I think this whole 5th-round pick is just a red herring for people to let their personal feelings of Shedeur permeate through their scout reports.
Well, because Lima, I made those arguments with you. You can't just sit there and treat him like a normal 5th-round pick, because we've never seen a drop like this.
And so a lot of Shedeur fans, and Cleveland Brown fans for that matter, are frustrated, not because Shedeur Sanders didn't get an opportunity, but it's because Shedeur Sanders didn't get a fair opportunity. He didn't get the same opportunity that a lot of us thought he was going to get. When they announced that they were going to have a quarterback competition, we had no reason not to believe them. You're talking about an 18-year-old veteran, 40-year-old quarterback in Joe Flacco on your team. Kenny Pickett, somebody who's almost a journeyman at this point in his career. Dillon Gabriel, a rookie. Shedeur Sanders, another rookie. And so a lot of us thought it was going to be a fair and open competition. We had no reason to believe any differently. And so that's where the frustration comes from. But those are my thoughts on it anyways. Make sure you guys go ahead and try to keep that conversation going on down below, like you guys usually do. And as usual, peace, chaos.